Yeah, thank you. Sorry about that. So what I was saying is that closure can be very hard, and I think for us to talk about closure, we also have to talk about forgiveness. I think they kind of go hand in hand, right? Because if you're not willing to forgive the person for what they did to you, I don't know if there should be a room for conversation for closure. That's just one point of that is closure and forgiveness will kind of tie hand in hand if you're looking for to really close, a relationship or
Yeah.
kind of figure out what went wrong and fix it. Secondly, what I was saying is closure does not really work for me. And like Corinne said, rightfully, some people get defensive when you start talking about closure. When you bring up, like personally, I've experienced that a lot of times where, you know, I may have issues with someone and I bring it to them and I'm asking them and they're lying and not being truthful and then just wanting you to just, hey, let's forget about it. It has happened, it has happened. Let's move on. Let's forgive and let go and start all over. Now,
Yeah.
you cannot close without accepting some form of accountability to what happened. So for me, if you're not willing to accept or be accountable for your actions, I don't need your closure because what's the point? If you want us to resolve the issue without you holding yourself, I need closure from you. I'm just going to have to heal from that. So it's also important, like you said, that when you don't, when there's a closure, when you have issues with
Yeah.
someone that there's no closure and you don't heal from it, you are going to bleed on somebody else, right? So it's important that and that's why it's important when if you're in a love relationship with a guy or, anybody else, it's important that you heal from it before you jump into another relationship. Because when you don't, like you said, you might experience, if the person does something similar to what you experienced previously, it might trigger the person to act, to act out of character or to like project their past experience into the present situation. So whether friendship, whether love, whether marriage, it's important that you heal before you jump into any other relationship. Because if you don't heal from it, every little action might trigger you when you get into another relationship with someone. But does closure work? For me personally, it doesn't work. I don't speak about it. I
Yeah.
I actually don't believe in it before. I used to think maybe, but I've tried that with several people, and each time they don't want to speak the truth. They don't want to take ownership of their role or agree to, when I present evidence to show what they did, they get defensive, they get angry, they start, like, oh well, why you just pinpointing this? Why you just let it go? It is what it is. And so closure does not work for me. I kind of just like,
Yeah.
what, it is what it is. You probably, because we make mistakes too sometimes when we're in relationship with people. It could be family relationship as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be romance. It's sometimes we're in a relationship with people that we love, but they don't love us back. So we make the mistake to believe in them, to trust them, and
Yeah.
think that they have the same affections for us, but they don't. So when they do something to hurt you, they might not look. They're not looking for closure because
Yeah.
the way you're interpreting the relationship is not the same way they're interpreting the relationship. So, again, I will conclude that it all depends on who it is. In that, it's not useful, it's not good. What I choose to do is to forgive them and forgive myself so I forgive myself by saying, okay, well, what should I have done differently in the relationship? That did I trust them too much? Did I love them beyond the love they have for me? And I kind of pull from that and let it go. So that's what I've chose to do because closure does not work for me. It has never worked, and I've resolved myself that it would never work. So I rather forgive you, but access denied. peace on you. I don't wish you bad. I forgive you, but just keep going. That for me, that's my closure. I forgive you and let you go and just keep you away from my life. That's what I said.
Greetings,
I, I
all
think
of
at
you.
the end of so much, Victoria. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, I think everybody is speaking one mind because the truth is, it has never worked for me before. I've done it in the past. I tried to bring things, let's talk amicably like mature people and sort things out and settle it and forgive each other. But it was picking, being defensive, and it ended up not working out well. I think all of you are right because what I did then is that I let everything out, and you wouldn't want to keep streaming that person, like making the person believe that there is still something going on between both of you when there is absolutely nothing. That is why I always say it's better to speak, even when they are being defensive, just speak out. In the midst of that, they are being defensive, let it out. Truth hurts. The majority of people are running away from the truth. You let it out. This is the reason, this is the reason. Let me hear your own, even when they are screaming and all that. The moment you master the courage to speak out in the midst of their tantrums, you heal the side of hopefully move on. Forgive them, forgive yourself. You moving on, you are the one who is even moving on light while they are still carrying the burden because they are being defensive over nothing. Many doesn't know how to communicate at the end of the day. So let's hear from.
Hello,
Thank you so
guys.
much. I can hear you.
Excuse me.
Yeah, first, I want to thank you
Can you hear
for.
me?
I can hear you. I want to thank you for giving me the privilege. Can you? Yeah, I want to thank you guys for giving me the privilege of contributing in a very sensitive discussion. First, we have to identify what is relationship.
Ah,
You understand? Relationship, it
okay.
comes in different ways for people. Everybody have their own belief or rotation about relationship. I will just try to break it down and as quickly as possible I can. First, for me, I'm talking of my individual
Okay.
self. Okay, relationship should be between two people that are
Yeah.
honest. Underline that word, honest with themselves. Because the truth is, the mistake we make in relationship is we go
Yeah.
there with too much expectations. Too much expectations in the like for a man, we want this woman to be too responsible, too faithful, too honest. Look, two siblings at home, at times they have issues. Sometimes even your birth mother, you can disagree with them. When people go into relationship knowing that sometimes people are meant to disagree, but that does not mean hatred has to come. Disagreeing with somebody does not mean you don't love the person. It is normal that when two people are together, at the beginning, they are emotionally attached. As time progresses, you get to know the real attitude of each other. You start seeing their weaknesses. How far from them is different. When you people become close, you get to see on a daily basis. You start seeing some areas that the guy is F9. You start seeing some areas that the guy is F9. You know, that is the time to determine if truly you people are in love. How do you now iron out modalities on working on your differences? Working on the differences at the same time respecting yourselves. So for a relationship to work, it means the two parties have to make a lot of sacrifice, have to be willing to forgive, have to be willing to learn because it's a force that you must be learning every day. It's an institution that you learn every day. There's no perfect man, a first class man in relationship. As day progresses, you get to learn. You meet different people in life, they come with their own different vibes. But how do you coexist with them? That is for relationship itself. Then when it comes to closure, for example, I'm a strong believer of closure. If I'm in a relationship and it did not work out well, the moment it ends, I do everything possible to get in touch with whoever I dated. Madam, when we were dating, what were my bad side? I like to know my dark side. I like to know areas that I'm not good at. I'm not doing it because I want to come back to you. But I want, when I'm jumping into the next relationship, I can improve in those areas, because it will be very wrong for me to heredit a problem in my past relationship and introduce it to my new relationship. It does not work out that way. And sometimes again, you might think you are mad. The truth is, it's not every relationship that will lead to marriage. Let us call a spade a spade. There are some relationships that are meant to make you grow. Some will teach you lesson. Some will expose you to real life challenges. You know, there are some, I've seen a couple, they dated for like 2 3 years, got married, stayed for like 5 years, the marriage got destroyed. She left, she got married to another man. She left the man, got married to another man again. She left the man. She got married to like 3 men. Eventually, at the end of the day, she came back to the first man and said, you know what? At that age of 18 to 32 is like the flower stage in their life. They want to explore, they want to see life, you know. I believe when a woman start getting to 34, 35, you start seeing the maturity in her. That is when she want to settle down. That is when she want to start facing the children, creating time for family and all that. So the point is, nobody is perfect. The men are not perfect. The women are not perfect. When you go into a relationship, don't go with too much expectations. Take it cool. Take it as an institution where mistakes will come, flops will come, correction will still be made. No man is an island of his own. Everybody is learning. It's a learning process for everybody. Just the way I'm here listening to you guys, I learned a lot of things today. And if one is in a relationship, you apply all these things, it works. For the fact that it did not work for you does not mean it does not work for another person. And when you are dating a guy, please, see, I believe women are so powerful. Women are blessed. When you see a relationship that will not work, you know. But women, they go into relationship with emotions. Sometimes you have to be real. You understand? Sometimes you have to be very, very real. If you see a man that does not love you, I'm sure you know. But you people will want to go into it. Let us keep trying. Let us keep trying. Relationship, love is respect. Oh, love is respect. If I know I'm going to date 2 women and it's going to affect you, why will I jump into it? Why will I want to hurt somebody that I'm dating? Sometimes you know this relationship will not work out. You just want to force yourself on the man. Even guys too, they know this girl. There's no way. When you see somebody that you guys are compatible, my sister, you don't need to be told. You will know. So I don't want to talk too much. Let me just end it here so other people can contribute. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
All right, Austin, I have a question for you at the end of the day. Thank you so much for your contribution. I just love everything you said. But let's know from you. Let's hear. So, do you believe in closure at the end of the day?
Yeah, I believe. I believe in closure.
Okay, you believe in closure. Okay, and not
Yes.
walking away
Look,
without closure.
I tell them, look, I can proudly knock my chest and tell you that there's no of my ex. I can give you like 2 people that I've dated. If you call them, they'll speak so highly of me. Why? Because I ended up well. We had to sit down, discuss. You see, this relationship, it is not working. These are the reasons, these are the reasons, these are the reasons. We keep close friendship. I can even send them money if they are down. There's one I opened business for. Why? Because she was extremely good to me my university days. You know, she supported me a lot when I was like nothing to write home about. You understand? She did a lot. She made a lot of sacrifice for me in the university. Eventually, God helped me in life. Okay, how do you want to tell me to forget that kind of person because relationship did not work out? No. If relationship it did not work out, does not mean our friendship has to die. No. We have to keep that friendship. The friendship is the most important thing.
Okay.
Why do I say we work with emotions? Look, if a relationship did not work out between 2 of us, that does not mean we can't be good friends. That does not mean, I always believe like, if I want to end relationship, we should end it in a fantastic way. There's no good way to end relationship, but the truth is, when you are ending it, then the guy will feel hurt. The guy will feel hurt. But do you know it takes like 1 2 years she was like, oh man, this guy was really, planning big for me, but I was carried away. Most closures, they don't appreciate it at that moment. But after like 1 year, they'll start seeing it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You start rekindling it back. Sometimes you guys can come back and it works. Sometimes it does not work. But the truth,
Can you hear? Are you still
Tim?
there? Are you still there, Austin? Do we still have Austin here?
I'm not sure what happened to
Hello?
him. He's here, but I'm not sure. Oh, we lost him. He disconnected.
No, I think no. Yeah, I believe you guys. You are seeing what I'm seeing here. You heard everything Austin just said. If you ask me, I would say he is exceptional. Let me just say that he is exceptional because I have noticed in all these closure of a thing in relationships, majority of men are not comfortable with communication. They don't like being, sat down to discuss anything. So the way Austin is sounding, Austin, I believe, is an exceptional. Okay, you just heard what he said. He even opened a business for one of them. It does not stop them from it doesn't stop them from being friends. That means he's open and willing to communicate, no matter what must have transpired in the past. He still believes in that communication. So if you ask me, I would say he's an exception. Honestly, if the rest can see it that way, I don't think majority of women will be going with moving on without a closure. I don't think they'll be doing it. But you can see many people move on without a closure because of all this, because of this problem in communication, and so many of them. Then one of us here, Sal, I read what Sal said. Sal said she went back for the closure and ended up being tricked back into what she rejected before. She fell back for it again, and at the end of the day, she fell out. You see what I say? It's good, and at the same time, there's advantage and disadvantage in it. You don't know what will happen at the end of the day. Now, Sal told us here she went for her own closure. Something happened. She was tricked. She found herself in that same mess again. At the end of the day, she came out. So, Colin, are you still there? Colin, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here. I'm here.
You heard what I said, what of us just said. What do you have to say about that? For those of us who goes back for the closure and we don't know what happened, they ended up falling into the same trap again. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, that what she said, what Sad wrote, is actually one of the reasons I don't believe in closure. And I'm going to say something. You know, I've heard stories of, and then you find out that men can be very trickish and men can be very corny. You find out that some men end up taking advantage of that. I'm telling you, some men end up taking advantage of that, and then you, the woman, you start feeling bad. And for some women, it has actually destroyed their present relationship because listening to what Austin said. Now I'm
Yeah.
going to say this: he, as a man, he's not speaking as a woman because I am a woman, and not just a woman. I am a married woman. Obviously, my husband is not my first love. I've had previous relationship. Expect me being a married woman with children, how do you expect me to all of a sudden I have someone from my past, an ex, a man, coming back, chatting me up in any of my social media handle, let's say Facebook or Instagram, and like, hi Corinne, if you remember me, I'm this and that, it's been long. Can we talk? No, I'm not gonna talk with you. I don't have anything to talk with you. You remain in the past because I cannot give you that room to come and tell me bullshit. I'm sorry, I call it bullshit because it's been years. What closure are you looking for? I am happy where I am, and I believe you should be happy wherever you are. So if you're coming back into my life to try to talk to me, certain things I have forgotten years ago and moved on from, and if I give you that room, then I'm just being stupid and I'm hurting myself because one, I'm putting my marriage in danger, in risk. Because there is no way I am going to look at my partner, my husband, and tell him, oh, it's just an ex that just wants us to have a closure. And be like, okay, darling, I understand, it's just closure. No, he wouldn't do that. Men don't understand it that way. If it's your ex, what the hell are
Yes.
both of you talking about? Tell me. That's why I say it doesn't work for people like me. We dated, it didn't work. That's fine. I don't have anything against you. Like Victoria rightly said, I've forgiven you, I've forgiven myself. I've forgiven myself for even allowing you into my life in the first place. And I've forgiven you for all the wrongs you've done for me, you done to me. So I wish you well in your life, in your endeavors. I wish you well. No bad blood, no bad energy. But we just cannot be friends. There is no way we can be friends. I'm sorry. If we were in a relationship that is related for the sake of our standards, for the sake of our future, because I cannot allow you back into my life as a friend, very, very well that I once had something with you. Whether I like it or not, a day is going to come that you're going to raise one conversation of, oh, you remember when we used to date, when we used to go to this, and it's already started coming as a cheat in my marriage because such messages are not allowed. So for me to avoid certain things, I need to cut you off completely. And if I'm cutting you off completely, that does not mean that tomorrow, if I paraventure pops into you, I'm not going to stop and greet you or ask you, how are you doing? I'm going to do that because I don't hold anything against you. I'm just protecting my newfound life. And some people need to understand it that way. Everything must not be closure. We mustn't talk about it. There are some things we shouldn't talk about. There are some moving on that we just have to move on quietly and silently without looking back. Because sometimes when you look back, you might make a mistake from looking back.
Yes. Yeah.
I know of a woman that on her wedding day, on the night before her wedding day, her ex came back for this same closure. He just wanted to talk. You're getting married. What about me? And she offered to talk. And guess what happened? He slept with her. And not just he slept with her, the husband cut them. Now, what do you have to say? Was that closure?
let me say something after she finished.
It wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary. I don't think it's necessary. Because if you guys have agreed that, okay, this relationship is not working, maybe we have a contrast in character, maybe we have a contrast in opinion, maybe we have a contrast in views and mindset, educational background, religious belief. Fine, it cannot work. We are not compatible. What should we do? You move your way, I move my way. You go seek for your soulmate, I go seek for my soulmate. If the future brings us all back in any way, let's say in a business rotation, we laugh and talk. But saying that you come back after so many years to ask me what you didn't do right in the relationship.
Yeah, hold on, please. Colin, thank you so much because what I agree with what Colin just said to us right now. When it comes to someone as a married man or as a married woman, it's freakish for you to fall into that closure. What she says, she's right. Anything can happen if you're not careful. If you're not careful as a married person.